Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be testing a wall mounted pressure washer made by Giraffe. I'm first going to start with unboxing, then we're going to test the performance of the pressure washer cleaning a brand new BMW X550e. So let's make a start. This model is the Grand Falls pressure washer with a 30 metre auto retracting hose and a 2000 watt pump. This side lists the model number, weight and dimensions of the box. This side displays the Giraffe Tools logo, and this side lists almost the exact same details as the opposite side. The box is sealed using clear sellotape on all edges, top and bottom. Inside there's an instruction manual, a soft plastic foam bottle which appears to have a dent in the bottom of it, this bag contains the pickup tube for the bottle, wall mounting hardware, a mini spirit level, the foam cannon head, a brass hose pipe connector, the head for the pressure lance and a cylindrical metal bar. This is the lance pole to extend reach from the trigger gun. Under this tray is the low pressure hose pipe to connect the machine to the water supply. The lance gun. And the pressure washer and hose reel, which appears to be pre-assembled. I'll remove the plastic bag it comes shipped in so we can take a closer look. On the back is the power cord and wall mounting bracket, and you can also see a holder on each side for the foam cannon and lance. This side has the low pressure hose pipe connector with vents underneath to presumably dissipate heat from the pump when it is running. The front has the Giraffe Tools logo under the hose reel system. Then this side has the power switch to turn it on and off. The high pressure hose on the reel looks neat and tidy, and you can see the black guide gear underneath, which presumably helps feed it back onto the drum in a controlled way. The shiny texture on the black guide is because it's coated in a clear lubricant. Looking more closely, this side has a serial number at the top, a carry handle, then the hose pipe connector which will feed the electric pump. This side has a warning sticker about the hose reel mechanism, a matching carry handle, and then an orange power toggle switch for the pump. The mounting bracket is fixed with a cable tie to keep it in place during shipping. This section of the instruction manual lists measurements and operating values as well as all included parts. Let's take a closer look at all the parts included. The foam lance head appears to be made almost entirely of plastic. The pickup hose pushes onto the head easily enough, and you can see here the bottom of the pickup hose has a plastic filter to prevent debris from being picked up. The pickup valve has half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3 and a bit turns of adjustment. Fan spray adjustment is not done using the tip but the barrel behind it. It doesn't fully close and is around a third of a turn from min to max. The pickup hose is a little longer than the length of the bottle, so when you insert it, you cannot screw the lid shut without forcing it to bend inside the bottle. This might be more obvious because the tube is new and should flex better after some use. The bottle is opaque and you can see the pickup tube through it. You can see here when I close the fan blades, there's play in how it connects to the head, which rotates it off centre, and the only way to realign it is to fully open it again. When empty, the foam cannon is top heavy and cannot stand upright. The low pressure hose pipe for the pressure washer is well packaged. This is the end which connects to the tap and has a removable quick release connector made of brass. This looks to be well made, although I'm not sure why this section of pipe has such a large diameter compared to the normal hose pipe diameter used in the UK. For the connection to the pressure washer, it has a thick rubber seal with a domed metal mesh filter in the centre. This should prevent any water leaks from the connection, whilst also preventing any debris from the water supply getting into the pump. You can also see the pipe has come packaged with a large kink in it. This should drop out after use, however I'm currently reviewing this in winter, so I might have to wait until it gets warmer. This is the lance pole, which has a couple of lubricated rubber O-rings at each end. The trigger gun is lightweight and has a brass quick release connector positioned in front of the trigger. I'll just get a knife to remove the protective packaging. The quick release connector looks well built. It's a little stiff because it's new, but I expect this to improve after using it a few times. The trigger has a child lock mechanism which is simple but effective. The trigger itself is easy to pull and feels comfortable to hold. The lance pole connector is spring loaded and locks into place with a push and twist. The lance head simply screws onto the pole like so, then locks into place with little tabs to help prevent it from backing off during use. The lance head looks similar to the fan blades on the foam cannon. This one fully closes with a third of a turn from fully open to fully closed. Now my intention is to mount the pressure washer here above where my hose pipe is mounted. However, I first want to test this unit to make sure this is the best place to install it. I'll also need a plug socket installing because I don't have power on this side of the garage. First, I need to connect the low pressure hose pipe. You can see here the kink is hard to reshape. You need a large spanner to tighten this nut. There's some flex in the connector coming out of the pressure washer that rotates when you tighten the hose to it. It doesn't need to be super tight because the rubber seal will prevent water leaking from this connection. I've got a male-to-male hosepipe adapter so I can connect it to my outside tap, which is further away than the supplied low pressure hosepipe will reach. I'm quickly testing how the hose unwinds from the unit, which it does so with ease. I'm resting my foot on the front to ensure it doesn't pull the machine across the floor because I currently don't have it wall mounted. When you stop pulling, it has an auto stop function which prevents the hose from retracting back onto the drum. To wind it back in, simply pull the hose out a little which releases the lock, then it will automatically wind back onto the drum. This mechanism works well and I like how it guides it back onto the drum to keep the hose neat and tidy. I'm now going to unwind it a little so I can first prime it and let water run through the system before turning the pump on. The hose has good flex, but it does appear to kink if you bend it too much, which might happen if you got the hose trapped under a tyre whilst working around the car. Although I've turned the tap on, I'm not getting anything coming out of the hose. I'm going to try and ravel in the entire hose to make sure there isn't a kink or something preventing water from getting through. You can see here the hose has a stop label to ensure you don't overextend reach and damage the auto wind mechanism. Whilst I have it unravelled, I'm going to see how many laps I can get around the car. 1. That's just over 2 full laps around the car. The length of this hose is definitely not an issue. With it fully unwound, water has started to drip out at the end of the hose, so I'm going to wind it back onto the drum to see if it has fixed the issue. The drip has turned more into a trickle, so it's flowing a little more freely. I wonder if there was grease or something in the pump which is getting unblocked by the flowing water. I'm now going to turn on the pump to see if that helps hurry things along. The pump isn't too noisy, it obviously sounds louder stood right next to it. The trickle is a little better after running the pump. And now when I switch it on, you can see it's coming out faster than the first attempt. I'm now going to do a flow rate test to measure its performance. You can see without the lance head attached, the pump is consuming around 1000 watts and is drawing about 4.5 amp. That took 1 minute 23.7 seconds to fill 10 litres. That works out at 7.2 litres per minute or 430 litres per hour. Just to make sure the flow rate isn't being impeded before it gets to the pressure washer, I'm going to test the output of the inlet pipe. (44.9 seconds to fill 10 litres. That's 13.4 litres per minute or 802 litres per hour. And now a quick test without the mesh filter. (45.3 seconds to fill 10 litres, almost identical to the time using the filter, so that doesn't impede flow in any way. What the heck? Just when I'm about to test the pressure washer cleaning the car, this happens. It's meant to be a quick shower, so hopefully the car will have time to dry out before I test the snow foam cannon.
A few moments later.
Now it has dried up, the final flow test is with the pressure washer lance attached. You can see here it doesn't insert automatically. You need to pull back the quick release collar to insert it. Again, it's sticking a little, but I think this is just because it's new. See, this time was better. I'll just turn the tap back on and switch on the pressure washer. You can see when the hose is pressurised that it's retaining its shape rather than lying flat on the ground. I'll have to be careful to make sure it doesn't touch the paintwork when moving around the car. You can see here that after switching it on, there's about a 1/3 to 1/2 second delay when pulling the trigger before the pump kicks in. then about a 1.2 second delay after letting go of the trigger before the pump finishes charging and switches off. That took 2 minutes to fill 10 litres, which works out at 5 litres per minute or 300 litres per hour. The technical information in the manual did state the flow rate from the hose was 2 GPM, which is 7.6 litres per minute, and I got 7.2. And 1.3 GPM for typical load, which is 4.9 litres per minute, and I measured 5, so on both counts it is performing as stated. Now to test the snow foam cannon. I used Built Hamber touchless to measure how well a foam cannon produces snow foam, because Built Hamber is calculated using panel impact ratio, which means the solution can be measured precisely based on the performance characteristics of the pressure washer and foam cannon. Because this bottle doesn't have any markings, I first need to find out how much water it holds. That measures 425ml, which makes this the smallest foam cannon bottle I've tested to date. To simplify calculations, I'm going to use 400ml, so I've emptied a little from the measuring jug. Although the bottle is opaque, it's still easy to see the level of water inside. I just don't get why they didn't think to put measurements on the bottle, but does have the really useful word soap written on it in large letters. I'm now going to empty the contents of the bottle to see the total amount of liquid dispensed when combined with water from the pressure washer. I've got the valve set to maximum pickup with the fan blades fully open. That's 45 seconds of use to empty the bottle. The total amount dispensed was 4.6 litres. 4.6 litres multiplied by 1000 equals 4,600 millilitres. 4,600 multiplied by 2% equals 92. So that's 92 millimetres of snow foam solution topped up with 308 millilitres of water. Not to reiterate the point, but with no markings on the bottle, you need to measure it using another method. You could use a marker pen to indicate fill levels on the bottle, but this really should be something addressed by the manufacturer. Don't fill too quickly, otherwise it will foam. Best to shake it afterwards to mix. The foam is going on okay, although it does look a little watery compared to other snow foam cannons I've tested. You can see covering about half of the car has used over 3/4 of a bottle. I'm going to need to refill it to finish coating the car. With the snow foam applied, here is a time lapse of the dwell time. Now let's see how the pressure washer lance performs. So this lance head works more like a hybrid between a traditional lance and a snow foam cannon lance. It's doing fine washing the car and has the right amount of pressure. If I'm nitpicking, I'd say the jet is a little more concentrated than other pressure washers I've tested, which means it will take a little longer to rinse the car in comparison. The watt meter is reading just over 1700 watts when using the lance. Cleaning patios or driveways is often another job which is commonly performed with pressure washers, so let's test how it cleans this block driveway. On its strongest setting, this is taking a long time to clean because the jet is concentrated on a really small area. The length of the lance is also not long enough for this job, and you can see how hunched over I am. Just as a quick comparison, I'll get out my Karcher K4 with the dirt blaster nozzle attached. You can see this did the same job in a matter of seconds, so I don't recommend the Giraffe pressure washer for cleaning driveways unless you're getting paid by the hour. Now the hose has been used to clean the car, you can see some loops still exist, but let's test how it retracts back onto the barrel. When the hose is wet, it is very slippery. I'm gripping it to slow down how fast it retracts. I'd be scared it might break if it retracted unhindered at full speed. When these are wall mounted, you could hold the end of the hose and walk back with it to limit its speed. It's only because I don't have mine wall mounted yet that I wanted to hold the unit to make sure it didn't tip over. So to conclude, I think this is a great pressure washer for cleaning the car. It can be mounted on the wall out of the way, and this is definitely one of the easiest hoses to store compared to other pressure washers without a reel. The length of the hose is more than enough at 30 metres, but you do have to be careful with it coiling near paintwork to make sure you don't scratch it. In terms of the lance, I think this is lacking on performance compared to other manufacturers. It is sufficient to clean the car, but as shown earlier, it's not really suitable for patio or driveway cleaning due to its length, and when the jet is on full power, it's cleaning such a small area that it would take a lot longer to clean compared to alternatives. Admittedly, I should have tested it with a larger spray pattern to see if it could remove the stains on the brickwork whilst cleaning a larger surface area. I'll have to test this more thoroughly in a future video. The snow foam cannon provided is okay. The lance head produces an acceptable snow foam, but the bottle is lacking build quality, measurements, and is also too small to cover the car in one pass. The bottle is very soft, and I would question how long it will last before it splits. At the time of producing this video, it's available on Amazon for £230, comes with a 2-year warranty and includes free shipping. I've put a link in the description to the discounted price. This hose does support the 1/4-inch quick connector fittings, so I'm going to test it with an aftermarket short trigger gun and foam cannon to see if it's possible to get the best of both worlds. Because the pressure washer and reel is convenient to use, it's only really let down by the supplied accessories. If you have any questions about this pressure washer, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. Well guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing's free, and it just means any future videos I release will automatically appear on your feed without you having to search for them. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.